Hi, yo. What's up, Chase? How you doing?
What's up? How's it going?
We're finally doing the thing.
Yeah, I'm so
It,
excited that we're
uh,
actually doing it now.
yeah. Well, welcome on to the second ever episode of Wub Theory. It's my new podcast slash tutorial series where I wanted to talk about inspiration and life and how like those things like formulate our technical decision making and writing music, because it's like there's like so many tutorials out there on like, oh, how to make this wub or how to compress that, or but there's not a lot of stuff on like inspiration, which is like the root core of any musical idea and being an
Yeah,
artist and humans expressing ourselves. So yeah, that's what that got me into wanting to do this, and we made a collab together that just got released.
yeah, yeah. I love this idea, by the way, of having this type of video out there on YouTube because you're right. It's just not something that you see a lot of. But yeah, I'm super stoked on the track. It's part of my SubCarbon EP called Interstellar Vision. And this track is called Dangerous. And I'm really, really stoked how it turned out.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you'd sent me like a couple demos of collab ideas or just like works in progress you had, and I think
Yeah.
I like didn't. I really liked one of them, but I didn't like the money vocal sample. There's like getting money or something
Yeah.
like generic like that.
Yeah.
But the track was so fire, and then I think I came back around and listened to it again, and was like, oh, we gotta do this one. This one's so good, and we'll get into the track a little bit
Sweet.
later, but you've been, I think, like really on the come up a lot recently, just in terms of like the quality of your tracks.
Yeah, I've been I've been doing my best. I've had a little more time recently with like quarantine, honestly, with being able to work on producing and being able to really like dig in and
Mm,
try to just learn something every day and like get better at it and get feedback from people
mm,
that I respect, like yourself as producers, because I think that's a really huge part of it is hearing from producers that you look up to about what they think about your tracks and also just trying to improve yourself just a little bit every day. I
mm,
really like subscribe to the 1% or even like maybe 0.1% method where you just focus on like instead of focusing on like big end goals like releasing on this label or playing this show or whatever, more so like how do I get just a tiny bit better every day because
mm.
those improvements really like compound over time, and that's what gets you those bigger releases and those shows and all that good stuff. So that's kind of been my focus recently, is just like really digging in and like trying to finish a bunch of stuff. So it's been cool to see a lot of it come out like right around this time.
Mm.
We just had like the Space Yacht EP that had three drum and bass tracks in it, and that's kind of like where my focus is. Yeah, definitely. I'm loving drum and bass. I've loved it ever since I got to see like Pendulum was my first ever like favorite electronic
Oh
act,
yeah.
and I got to see Excision open for them at
Ha!
uh at the Showbox in like 2009 here in Seattle. And
Wow.
I think that was a really big moment for me, that show. Actually, it was the first time I heard dubstep, first of all. Second of all, it was really cool. And so I've loved drum and bass ever since, but I've never found myself working in it until now. I never thought I could. I was always like, nah, I can't do that. Like I can't make that stuff even if I tried. And But it really like feels like home, so I've been focusing on that. And then the Interstellar Vision EP that our track is on, I think, is cool because it's more of like a exercise in trying out a bunch of different stuff and like having multiple genres on
Because you
a
make a lot of genres, don't you?
yeah. Well, the for instance, like, our track is like a halftime D&B track, and then
Mm,
there's another drum and bass track on it. There's a dubstep track, and then there's two bass house tracks, which are pretty random for me. But like they came through doing like exercises in other genres to like work out my music brain.
mm,
And sometimes those like exercises to like just kind of try out new stuff and just feel out stuff, those like turn into actual tracks. So that's what you'll hear on the EP pretty much. It's just like me having fun and kind of just getting the wiggles out and just doing whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying like it's sort of just like you exploring your creativity, you
Yeah,
know, and
definitely.
like you were saying you got your first like sort of inspiration from electronic music in those early like 2009 days from Pendulum and Excision and like do you
Yeah.
remember the first time you ever heard drum and bass or like heavy electronic music?
I don't remember actually. I mean,
What?
probably. I don't remember the exact moment,
Yeah.
but it had to be like one of my good friends listening to Hold Your Color, which is the album Pendulum made before In Silico. In
Mm.
Silico was the album that I really like latched onto because I was in a band at the time. And I play the drums. So I was really into their like fusion of rock and
Mhm.
electronic music. I thought it was super cool. And so, yeah, so I think it had to be probably Hold Your Color and listening to it and being like, whoa, this is really cool. And then kind of being, maybe not totally listening to it all that much. And then, listening to my alternative rock music like I did. And then like In Silico came out and then just being like, wow, I like want to make this kind of music. And it didn't really actually come to fruition for a while. I just kept playing in bands. And then like a few years later, I was like, you know what, I can do this like DJ producing thing like by myself. You don't have to like schedule band practice.
Oh yeah. Oh my God,
And
man. And
yeah,
just like
yeah,
hauling the stuff everywhere and like every
yeah, drums
gig,
are
you
big.
just have so much setup time. And now we just show up with a USB stick.
Yeah, it's so different. um
I mean, both things are very fun. It's very fun to jam with the band, but also
totally.
I love being able to show up and rock a show off my USB.
Yeah, but that's definitely kind of like I think some of the first times that I got into it. Even like listening to Excision after that show too. I was kind of like in the moment, I was like, what is this music that is
Mm.
happening right now?
Oh,
And
dude.
a lot of us didn't get it in the crowd, you could
Yeah.
tell, but like a few dudes were like going crazy. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't. And then we started listening to it like semi ironically afterwards. And then after a while, I was like, you know what? This is pretty cool. I kind of like
Dude,
it.
that's
Like,
so funny you say that. I think I went through a similar phase. Like I remember
yeah,
hearing drum and bass for the first time at EDC at,
yeah,
in like 2008, and I didn't even understand it as music. I just heard rhythmic noises very fast, and I was like,
yeah,
"What is this? I don't even know what's going on right now." Because I guess though I was going in 2008. I also got to see Aphex Twin, so I was very much
ooh,
into IDM more
yeah,
so than like the more mainstream like jungle and drum and bass and whatnot. And so I sort of got in it from the IDM world, which is I went from like punk to metal to death metal. I need all the double bass drum kicks as I possibly
yes.
could to Aphex Twin and then into more standard dance music.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, like thinking back at what I listened to and how it's changed over time. And now it's really just in like electronic music is kind of taken over,
Mm.
and in like a good way.
Oh yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I love it, and I love all the music that's coming out right now. It's like so cool to listen. Like even especially like I'll talk about drum and bass a little bit. Like especially drum and bass, I think so many people are doing such awesome things. And this actually isn't just drum and bass. This is like most genres. I think it's really cool. Like there's music coming out right now that I'm just like completely amazed by every week. I'm like, wow, this is, and it just is inspiring, makes me want to do it, um, and try to inspire other people like in that same way.
So do you think like okay, so this is what the crux of this show is like when when you it's like where does that inspiration come from? Like when you hear another song like that it inspires you, like
Yeah.
what is it that is that thing that is being exchanged in that moment?
This is so funny because I just like was thinking about this other day and I kind of like just offhanded tweeted it, but I was wondering like when you listen to a song and you say like, oh, this song is so good, or whatever word you want to use other than good, like fire or like gas or whatever.
Sick, bro.
Yeah, like whatever adjective you want to use, like what do you mean by that? Like what is it that makes it good? I don't think people really dig that deep into it when someone says that and ask them like why. And so people don't, I don't think, explain it a lot because I don't know if people ask. And so it's kind of an interesting question to explore, like internally with yourself. Like, what do you think is the thing that you love most about music and what makes a good song?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it's hard for me to describe, but I think for me, there's like some songs that I just want to like live in, if that makes sense. Like some songs that I really get attached to. There's this ones that you like put on repeat a lot. But there's just like for me, there's like envisioning the music like in my head, kind of like in a different, maybe like in like a live moment, like maybe like especially when I'm writing my own music, I try to think about it. I try to envision it being played like on a big live stage, and kind of like, I think what's cool, what I really get captured, or what really captures me in like good music is the little moments like within the song where it all of a sudden clicks and you go, wow, I like this song. Because I don't think you necessarily like it straight away. There's obviously good songs that have really great intros and that sort of thing, but like I think there's a moment for everybody where it just clicks and they go, this is a song that like I would share with people, or that I want to listen to again, or I want to check out more by this person. And I think it's because that artist is delivering an emotion that you identify with. Maybe you can't even describe what it is, but you understand where the artist was coming from at that moment in time. And I think that's a big part of it for sure.
Yeah, it's like, what emotion is stank bass face, you know? Like,
Yes,
like when you hear
like
like a gnarly like bass line, like womp 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 womp, dun 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 dun
yeah.
dun dun dun. You know, there's just like, oh, something infectious about rhythm, you know?
Yeah, totally. There's like
And
this
melody
attitude.
and yeah, the attitude thing. But it's like we're using these language things to like describe something that's like ineffable in essence,
Totally.
you know. And so that's what I'm trying to like explore in this with other people is like, are we just sharing something? Like when we share a song with somebody else, it's like we're trying to connect with them in a way, you
Yeah.
know? And so we're like trying to bridge worlds and you know, but I wonder like, does it ever, I don't know, does it ever like get to a place of like, oh, I'm just trying to like what other people are liking, to be a part of a community? Or is this a thing that just like I've never heard before and so it's impressive, you know?
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think
like,
probably both a little bit.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I guess it depends on the song and the person and the individual and things, you know?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's a language, right? It feels like a language that everybody knows, but you never maybe learn, or you never learn how to like communicate it because you can't really, maybe, you kind of just like music is, like everybody, I think, understands music one way or another,
Mm,
but how they understand it or how they communicate that with to describe with words. So,
absolutely.
but
You
like,
know,
yeah, I think um like that emotional aspect of it, like connecting with an emotion and seeing other people even connect with it and going like, oh, I could use a little of that, maybe I'll check it out. And like that kind of Like that's what creates like social, I guess, groups around music of people where you kind of like ascribe to that sort of social aspect and that like almost lifestyle of a certain, maybe a certain genre or an artist. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like 12, all I wanted to do was grow up and take ecstasy.
Yeah,
And I'd like never heard of like I mean I heard of cheesy I was making cheesy trance music at
yeah,
11,
yeah.
12 years old, alongside while listening to metal.
You started
But
early.
oh yeah, yeah.
That's
Uh,
cool.
I was on this program called EJ, and like that
Oh,
like throw in like little like pre-made synth and drum loops and whatnot. But it was interesting because like I'd never seen a rave or knew what ecstasy was. I just knew that I wanted to do it because it was like this
yeah.
part of the culture that was surrounding this interesting music that I mean I grew up in Texas,
Hmm.
and so I didn't really know anyone else into that kind of music until like I left.
Yeah. Interesting. I would imagine you'd be like, yeah, that sounds pretty good, that ecstasy stuff. Like people
I mean,
seem to enjoy
I
it.
ended up not doing it until much later, but
Yeah.
for probably good thing on my brain.
But
Um,
yeah, yeah, it's, that is like part of the, I guess, part of the culture, really, if you think about it. Like that's a lot of people. I mean, that's just maybe that's a bigger part of it for some people than it is for others.
yeah. Well, also, I'm sure the different time periods and the different like scenarios, because like a lot of early raves were like just sort of like an escape into an alternate reality for
Hmm.
people, and like you know, the ecstasy was this substance that allowed people to develop an emotional connection with strangers, essentially, you know, at this rapid rate in a society that like had no place for connecting with strangers in
Yeah.
a heartfelt way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting that you say that too. I think like that like escapism aspect of like raves
Mhm.
is also linked to the escapism like effect of music in general,
Mhm.
because when you're listening to music, like it can often be like that's what you're doing it for. You're doing it to escape something, maybe,
Mhm.
or like go to a different place, like
Yeah.
mentally.
Well, the music is a drug itself, you know, it's like you're changing your emotions, you know, you're
Yeah.
changing your state of being. Also interesting on since we're talking about MDMA is that have you heard of MAPS?
Mm-mm.
So MAPS is Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies,
Mm.
and they've been around for decades now, and they're on their way to making MDMA an FDA approved drug.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, there's a
Like
lot of that
within
stuff
like
happening.
like maybe 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, at least for PTSD
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and soldiers suffering from PTSD. They've been doing a lot of clinical trials. I think they're on phase 3 trials right now for FDA approval, and it's sort of crazy. Yeah, there's one of the founder Rick Doblin.
Hmm.
He's got a lot of really interesting interviews online, but just hearing his story about like how the people are able to like sink into a state where they can handle intense emotions, you
Mm.
know, and like feel acceptance for themselves, you know, even though they were in a terrible situation,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I think there's also something inspiring to me in that world where it's like I feel like electronic music helped make that happen.
Yeah. I think it's I think like yeah, there's that like stigma that drugs, psychedelics have always had. But it's sort of just like an old way of thinking.
Well, I
And
think it was based around people's perceptions on things rather than reality. And then so when
yes.
enough people it became enough when it became a part of enough people's realities, then people realized, "Oh, the thing that I was being told about this thing is not true because
Yeah.
my own personal experience in reality is significantly different than what I was told.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was definitely my experience with it for sure. For sure. And like, um, you see like festivals like Shambhala, shout
Mm,
out Shambhala, favorite
love it.
festival that has ever existed. I love that place.
Me too.
And they have like their testing stations that are
Mm.
just, you know, you go up there and they can take a look at whatever you have and make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
Um,
Dance Safe in that that's
Dance
one of the
safe.
organizations. At least here in America, I see
Yeah,
them all the time at festivals.
yeah. Shout out Dance Safe too. And
Yeah.
then I forget what it's called at Shambhala, whoever runs that tent. But um, it's a
I've
great
been there, so I know
experience.
I know what you. I've other people. They have like a pretty long line at times for this
Yeah,
thing. It's pretty hilarious.
there's a pretty long line, so you got to wait. But like other than that, it's
But
pretty great.
also,
And
it's
I
sort
just
of cool that people are actually sitting around to wait and like actually interested in being knowledgeable and safe.
yeah, I think so too. And there's like this, I don't know, there's this like sort of feeling there that like everybody wants you to be safe.
Hmm.
And I think that that's really great. And I think that that's super important for stuff like this. So it's really cool to see all these trials being done, like the one you mentioned, and the stuff with like mushrooms and stuff like that that's happening. Because it sounds like it could help a lot of people, and like we're kind of breaking down those perceptions that people used to have about that stuff. Um, but yeah, I do agree too that also maybe like electronic music did have a little bit to do with that. I don't know.
Absolutely, I think it did
I
because
think
that's
like
where people were having their minds expanded and having their minds changed,
yeah, yeah,
and
it's a good
having
point.
heart opening experiences, that like, um, I'm sure that there are non-perfect scenarios that where people
Yeah,
like abused it or people that took it without the proper set and setting
most
and safety
definitely.
net around themselves. But also, I think enough people did do it in a conscious way where people could see the benefits that it was having,
Yeah, I mean,
And-
there's a reason that we're at this point, I think, and they're like testing it out officially or whatever you want to
exactly.
call it.
So, you're living in Seattle, right?
Seattle, yeah.
Yeah. Did you grow up there?
Yes, born and raised. I've been here my
All
whole
right.
life.
So you've probably how far away is Shambhala from you?
Oh, it's actually not that far. It's a pretty I mean, it's a long drive, maybe like 6 hours. But you
Well, it's
just got to
not
drive.
terrible.
You got to drive pretty much all the way to the edge of Eastern Washington and then straight up north, and then there
Yeah.
you are. And so it's actually feels really cool to be so close to a festival that so many people travel internationally to. You go meet people from all over the place there.
What was your
And
first year?
my first year was 2016, I
Oh,
think. This 2020 would have been my fifth year in a row. And then obviously 2021
wah, wah,
would have been
wah.
sixth year. But we're looking at
I was
2022
supposed to
now.
play.
I know,
Oh,
dude. I know. And I was gonna go see you. It's like yeah, it's really too bad, but yeah, that was really great. That first year was really cool.
oh yeah. Yeah, I
Man,
got to perform at it with Lucent Dossier in
oh sweet.
2015 and 17.
Yeah, that's really really
Yeah,
cool.
we played the Village stage.
Oh man, see, that's the village stage is my one of my absolute favorite stages on earth.
Ever?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man, but whenever I'm writing music, I like to envision it there. I like to envision it in that environment because I
Mm.
think first off, the system is just crazy. They do such a good job every year. I'm blown away every single year by how it sounds. And the other thing that I really love about it, this is no hate to like um at all to VJs or like big crazy visuals and stuff like that. But I think it's really cool that there's no screen there and
Mm.
that there's pretty much only practical lighting. For some reason, I think that it's really cool that all the lighting guys, whoever take over for whatever artist or for their artist, or they have to kind of like work with what they have.
Hmm.
And uh I don't know, I just really love the look of it and the feel of that area, and that you're outside but it's like kind of enclosed.
Yeah, well, it's
So
got all the LED lights and the laser cut engravings on
yeah, the
like
wood
the
engravings.
yeah, it's got like an Ewok like bridge system that surrounds the stage.
Yeah,
And
so
so you get
cool.
this like multi-tiered experience, but like the whole area can be controlled by the lighting folks. And
Yeah.
so like the whole area is the stage almost, you know?
Yeah, you can like any you can be anywhere at that place and have an awesome view. You can be up above if you want to look down on the crowd. That's always fun. You can be down on the floor anywhere pretty much, and you'll have a good view. It's even got like one of those big. It's got like a big, like, I don't know what to call it, like a deck in the middle. Like there's a big surrounding, like raised area, but then like
Yeah.
one in the middle too, where you can go up above the sound people, and that's really awesome. So I just love that stage. I saw Sub Focus in 2016. It was like one of the first pro shot kind of like video live sets that they did, and
Mm.
that's up on YouTube. Um, and that set is like one of my favorites of all time. So I don't know. I was immediately hooked after that first year. I was like, wow, I'm gonna come back here every single year, and this will be my like big main vacation. And yeah, I
I
love
love
that
that
place.
one. I also really, I was really, I grew up with Lucidity Festival
Mm.
and Lightning in a Bottle. And
Oh,
that
I've
was,
heard really good things about Lightning the Bottle.
yeah, that one's more on the size of Shambhala, similar sized, but it's, yeah, down here in Southern California or Central California. And yeah, I remember going to those in like 2012 or something around then is when 2011 maybe, I think was when I first started going. And
Cool.
like I was, I felt like I discovered Hogwarts.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, being an adult doesn't have to suck.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I think like the discovery of music festivals when you go to your first one is like a big moment for a lot of people. My first one was one called Sasquatch here
Mm.
here at the Gorge, that no longer exists, unfortunately. But it's like a, a multi-genre, it was a multi-genre thing. And I went there a couple of years, and after the first year I was like, wow, okay, I get it. Like I get why people love to come to this and why people do this all the time.
Because there's so much to be inspired from there,
It's
you
so
know?
fun. Everybody is so relaxed and welcoming and friendly. And I think you kind of like, there's like the very little stress involved. I mean, there's stress, like obviously
Oh
there's
yeah, I
stressors
mean,
of going to a music festival, but like,
you're often outdoors, you know?
yeah, you don't feel the stress when you're hanging out, with all your friends, and you have no commitments other than like, I need to be at this stage at this time to
Yeah.
see this
It's a
person.
different kind of stress than societal stress.
Yeah, it's like the stress is like, I can't wait to have so much fun today.
Yeah.
And like, I can't wait to see this. And like, I'm like, yeah, you're almost like, I'm almost stressed out. I know I'm going to have so much fun.
Oh, that's funny. As humans, we just can't escape stress, can we?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's an interesting uh emotion, an interesting like driver of even of art too. I think like being stressed out is like sometimes can be conducive to like making art, other times really not so much at all. So it's kind of
I,
an interesting balance.
yeah, I've definitely gone in waves of being stressed over a song and then like having a breakthrough moment there, or other times where it's just like, nah, I just can't go down.
Yeah.
I heard a really great analogy recently about stress in general is that like imagine you've got like a cup of water. Oh, look,
Hmm.
actually, I have a cup of water.
Oh my gosh, great.
Yeah, look at this thing. Look, someone
That-
made this
Whoa,
out of
cool.
clay and like a beer bottle opener to make the patterns.
Oh, what? That's
Um,
sick.
but the analogy was like, how much does this glass weigh?
Hmm.
Well, it probably doesn't weigh that much. It weighs whatever it is. It's full of water.
Yeah.
But the reality is that the longer I hold this, the heavier it's going to feel for me. Because
Mm,
like eventually my arm's going to get tired from holding this thing. From hours from now, if I was still holding it, I'd be in pain.
yeah.
And so like the weight of something is different than the amount of time in which you hold on to it. And so he was saying like stress, the longer you hold on to it, the heavier it becomes on you. So you just gotta put down the glass.
Yeah. Really. Yeah. I mean, that's a great a way to put it. I think like, as artists too, like a lot of people, I like you see it all the time. People talk about stressors that they have, like in the music industry, or like
Mhm.
being an artist in general, and like being on deadlines and finishing tracks and that sort of thing. And
Mhm.
it always comes back to people being like, you know what? When I decided like to just kind of let it go and decided to focus on having fun and remembered that that was why I got into it in the first place,
Mm.
is when I started to make movement again on whatever was
Yeah.
blocking me.
Yeah,
So,
because thinking about a song, like you were saying earlier, you think of a song like in its environment in which it's to be played.
mhm,
You know, generally at a festival, and generally festivals are there to have fun. So
mhm.
I think that's appropriate. That's like this full circle moment of like trying to create more of that thing that inspired you. So
Yeah,
let's take a break right now. I need to stop the recording
totally.
and start it up again. So I'm
I
gonna
just noticed that.
exit out, exit out, and then come back in, and then we'll go into the project. Sound good?
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah,
Okay,
sounds good.
great, awesome. I'm recording again. Well, cool. Let's dive into this track that we made together.
Yes, please.
Share that. All right, cool. Can y'all see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And y'all got
Yeah.
good level?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. Um, and I'll keep this somewhere around here. There we go. Um, so yeah, here we are inside our track. Usually I have like all sorts of like groupings and whatnot, but this is the most unorganized I've ever been in a track, or at least in the last couple of years. But
Yeah.
hey, it sort of works for this because you
Sometimes
you
it's
just sent
fun.
me stems.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun to break away from the old template,
Yeah,
even if you do feel like you shouldn't be doing it. It's sometimes fun to like just, keep adding tracks.
yeah, and just like get into a different way of approaching things. I think
Yeah.
it's really cool. Yeah, because this one you literally sent me, you know, uh, just these like what 8 or so stems and
Yeah.
whatnot, and then
Wasn't that many?
yeah, and then I went and added in my own things. You can see
Yeah.
rather random scatterings of ideas throughout all this, and then your ideas right there. So
Yeah.
maybe let's, if people haven't checked out the track, let's play 'em, give them a drop of this.
Sweet.
Oh, it's so much fun to play. I've been playing it out at almost all my shows lately, and
Yeah, it's a fun one.
it's a really fun one to play out. And so I think this first part of this first drop is almost identical to what you sent me, except I switched out some vocal lines. Like I think this is
Yep.
what is that?
Yeah. So I was getting inspired by oh man, I don't know. I was just getting inspired by a lot of artists at this moment in time. Kind of like the maybe like Quicks is actually probably a big inspiration for this tune in general. But I was just messing around with like basically having a really fast like resonant filter going and that really is what gives it the tone and like the wiggliness. And so uh that's I don't remember exactly how I made it, but that's essentially what gave it its character.
So
um
what was it something like a high EQ thing and like automating
yeah,
or LFO
this actually
manipulating
might have
automating
been,
frequency?
yeah, exactly, it might have actually been one in that I made in Massive, just because I felt
Mm.
like going back and messing around with Massive for the first time in forever. And I know that a lot of people will use it for kind of cool sounds like this, so I was just like, you know what, I'll try it out myself. um so yeah, but it pretty much is exactly like that, like a nice resonant peak that moves back and forth really fast,
Yeah.
just
I've been
coupled with the
getting
right
into making
waveform.
little melodies and whatnot using that.
Yeah, like it's really cool. I think resonant filtering like this is one of the coolest things that you can do to like simple patches,
Hmm.
especially ones using basic shapes, waveforms, and that sort of thing. I mean, it's
Hmm.
cool that you have like I mean, you can do it obviously with EQs and filters, like the pretty basic ones like this, but there's those cool products coming out these days like Rift, like the Rift filter
Yeah, Rift.
is
Yeah,
really cool, with all those nice MIDI and key
yeah,
options.
that's my friend Jake that made that.
Oh, really? Oh, wow, I didn't know you knew him. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he went to the same college that I did.
oh yeah. So like,
CalArts.
yeah, Rift is awesome. They have like you can also just get the filter by itself, and use that, which is really cool. All the really sweet modulations and
Mm.
cool
Did
weird
you
kind of
use Rift at
filters.
all on this song?
No, actually, I didn't
No,
have
no.
Rift at the time that I
Yeah,
made
no, I was
this.
about to say this one was probably we made this probably like a month before Rift came out or
Yeah,
something.
probably something like that.
But definitely awesome
Yeah.
plugin if y'all haven't checked it out. More of that. It looks like you're side chaining to like some kicks there. And then there's is that also the resonant wiggling?
Yeah, that's just another version of the patch. Big fan of just duplicating and messing with a patch, and then that's my,
Mm.
second, either like a response or like a B section or whatever.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
I like
yeah,
the call and response of this song because like there's like here's the call and then like here's the response, you know?
yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
call response, but then the response is like slightly altered, you
yeah.
know?
I'm a huge fan of that. However you want to cut, like call and response is huge, or like ABAC is
Hmm.
another way to put it. Like I think, if you're working on a track and you're not sure, like it's kind of maybe missing something, like checking on your call and response is a huge thing to like look at, because I think the some of the biggest and best songs out there have really strong call and response inside of them. So like, because people really, I think there's sort of like a I don't know how to put it. I think that people basically call and response is ingrained in us as humans, like from way, way back, in terms of how, and what we like in music. So I think that's a huge part of it. So yeah, totally.
Yeah. Also, it's like sort of, I think of it like poetry, you know?
Yeah.
Where yeah, like you were saying, A, B, A, C, and like learning like how poetry is structured actually helps a lot in how to structure drops and whatnot.
Yeah, it's like it's a conversation, really,
Hmm.
which is cool. I think it's cool to think about stuff in like that, like a
And
conversation. Like
but then like
one proposes a question and then the other one answers it, you know?
yeah, but it's like each one is like slightly different. So like here it's like, and then here it's, and so there's like similarities, but then these two parts are the same,
Yeah.
you know. But then these are self-similar, but different as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, balancing self-similarity and uniqueness.
Yeah, totally.
Um, a lot of other fun things going on in here. Just like I just love those kinds of beats.
Yeah, the halftime is so much fun to make.
It's a nice snare too.
Yeah, I do like that one.
Yeah, did you make that, or was that from a sample pack or
I think that
something?
might be a combination of things, but
Yeah.
actually, a lot of the time, just for anybody listening, like if you don't know how to make your own drums, it's not a big problem. Like just find the right sample, you know,
Yeah,
and like
I'm about
that's what I
that.
do a lot of the time for my main drum. It's I've branched out a little bit, like especially with drum and bass. I start making my own breaks with addictive drums and then processing them. But
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love
yeah,
that.
but like a lot of time for my main samples, I like stick to the guys who are know what they're doing in terms of making drums, and then I just find the right one.
Yeah.
But
Not every painter creates their own paint.
yeah, it's like I want to get into it because it's a fun technical thing to learn, and like I think that's a next step for me. But you also shouldn't let it hold you back, for sure.
Yeah. I definitely make a lot of snares. Some of them
Yeah,
good, some of them terrible.
it's
Uh,
inspiring watching people do it, for sure. I want to
yeah,
get into it more.
but also I know that there are people that spend more time on that than me, and so it's like I go for what's right for the song.
Yeah, totally.
I think the big thing that changed was like the version that you sent me versus the one that I made is
Uh-huh.
there's more of like a theme or a story to the song, especially with these vocals
Yeah,
here. Uh,
definitely.
like
Dangerous.
that kind of it just adds attitude and a vibe. And I just found this on Splice. I think it's yeah, it's the same pitch, but then I used a little altar boy here to
Love Little
just
Altar Boy.
foment it and shift it up one and give it a little bit of distortion. And then I use my Magic Hype vocals here, which is part of one of my Magic Ableton Rack series, to process it and a little OTT. So before,
Dangerous.
you know,
Who the killer now? Who the killer now?
Yeah.
it's sort of plain,
Who the killer now? Who the killer now?
adds a lot more grit and depth
Yeah,
to
it's
it.
such a huge vocal. That's like the thing that stood out
Yeah.
because I was listening to the earlier version before our meeting just now, just because I wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
And it seems kind of like empty. And I remember when you sent it to me and listening to the vocal for the first time, I was like, wow, that vocal is like really forward. And then like as I got into more, I was like, that is awesome though. I don't know what it is about it, but it's like so big and cool, and it like really fills the space nicely that I didn't have filled. So
Yeah,
I think
and
it was
also I
just
think
great.
it captures the imagination because like
Totally.
when you hear the word dangerous, like there's like a certain emotional and mental associations with that word,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
think it. Yeah, totally.
And then also just in the context of like bass music and drum and bass, like you're killing it,
Yeah,
like and so it's like dangerous, like there's that attitude and vibe around it that just it permeates not just like this song but like the culture in general.
right. Yeah, I think like that's one of those things that if you like you like it, but if you dig really deep, you go like, why do I like it? Well, it's because it like has a it's because it has like an attitude and like a message, in a way. And I think that's something that I've been trying to learn, and something I've learned. I mean, just from doing this track with you, honestly, something I've learned from you and just from other artists in general is that like having a strong theme for your tracks is really helpful to make it memorable and make people
Mhm.
like latch on to it as like something that they identify with. Like it's really like having a killer vocal in something can really lift a track.
Literally, it says killer on here. Listen,
Yeah, you
listen,
know,
listen.
having a vocal.
Dangerous, no, I don't back down. Leave your heart laying on the ground. Tell me who the killer
You know,
now.
like that's the whole thing. And look, it's supposed to be for like a house song. It's at 126,
Yes.
but we're
Oh, I
using
love
it.
doing that.
I put it in halftime, and then you can see here I warped a lot of the transients of each voice to like fit a specific timing in the song,
Yeah.
and then chopped it around, you know. And so that's the thing is like I'll just listen for a cool phrase or a vibe or a feeling, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't fit with the song
Mhm.
rhythmically or melodically, as long as it's got like an attitude and a vibe. I can switch the pitch and I can switch the rhythm.
Yeah, that's stuff you like can change. I think there's like an element of like when you're going through Splice. Oops, I'm clipping a little bit. When you're going through Splice or like looking for samples, there's an element of like knowing how much you can do to something,
Mhm.
you know, and that'll make it like sound okay.
Because
And
if I was out there saying, "Dangerous, who the killer now? Who the killer now?" You know, like that's
little
not the
different.
same vibe.
Yeah,
That
totally.
part I can't change about myself. Though I do
See,
have some songs where I do my own vocals, and I do a lot of uh practice, like just like losing my mind and just getting into a
yeah,
particular vocal
you
tonality.
you really have to commit. I'm trying to do that more often. I was just doing that
Yeah.
like yesterday with a
Because like
track.
there's a confidence to it, you know, that
There
is
is,
actually in the recording.
if you, yeah, if you, it doesn't matter if you pitch something down to make yourself sound cool. If you didn't put in effort when you recorded it, it's going to sound that way. People are going to
Yeah.
be able to tell. It's not going to sound cool, you know?
Oh, I think was this the original vocal?
Flow too real, flow too
There you
real.
go. It's like
Is
a
that it?
miss. It's like a, I don't know, a combination of a,
Got the money in the bank,
Yeah,
yeah, like
there's the
two
thing.
vocals or something.
got the money in the
I
bank.
just don't
Pretty
like
generic.
songs about money.
I know you said this to me, and I was like, yeah, I get it. There's so many. There's so many about money.
Also, it's just I don't think money is very inspiring.
Yeah.
At least to me personally, I know it inspires all of society to do things, and I know but I feel like that's less inspiration and more influence.
Yeah, I think so too. Like it's just like part of it, and yeah, like I do think that. I mean, it's so lots of people do it. It's kind of overdone.
Yeah,
You know what I
but
mean?
there's still you did choose a sample that has attitude, so
Yeah, like
uh,
it's, yeah, at least like the emotion or like the tone was there. You
yeah.
know.
But I felt like yeah, we could make it more specific and cooler,
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, with that other one that we added in there. And then here in the second part of the drop,
Don't back down.
I had to go
Killer now.
for a mix between the two different sound designs.
Yes, I
Um,
love this. I want to hear about this part as much as everybody else because like I haven't seen any of this, and this B section is so sick, and I love all of the changes
so
that you made to it. So
yeah,
awesome.
I think I'm using some Stranger presets.
I love him.
Yeah, so that's where that comes from.
I love him.
Um,
Shout out Stranger.
yeah, we love him. I did a tutorial collab with him.
Oh, sweet. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How have I not seen that?
Oh, it's on my YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
but here,
look
look,
it
I just found like the
up.
right thing, but then it, it wasn't loud enough. It didn't have the grit.
That's nice.
Just adding that in there, sort of like I don't know. This song came so fast to me. Uh, oh yeah, I think this is from something
Mm,
that you sent me. I might have processed out the low end of it, so it's just that buzz.
yeah, it's
And I
probably the
kept on
sub.
noticing without the buzz in there, so it's going over like this. So
Mm,
just like without that tiny bit of buzz, it doesn't feel like the same song anymore.
yeah, I love that like rattly, just the the layering of sub and white noise with distortion is like so awesome. Everyone loves that sound. I feel like
And so
it's like so cool.
here I'm also sort of like doing like a call and response between your sound design. So there's, and then, and it's this really, that womp is so good. Do you remember that? What that was from?
Yeah, that's actually a lot of those are from that one in particular is a patch that I made that sounded okay by itself. And
Yeah.
I recorded like a jam and did some granulator and pulled out and did another jam after pulling out a string of audio into granulator 2 in Ableton. And then I pulled out my favorite parts. I was really into doing that back then. I haven't done it that much anymore, but the original patches, I don't remember what it sounded like, but it probably sounded pretty different. Just kind of sort of like a growly kind of thing. Not very, I don't think it was really crazy, but just filtering that made it kind of growly. And then throwing it in granulator really gives you some wild results, and you can take those and mess with those. So I think a lot of this track actually came from one large jam where I'm in there tweaking tweaking parameters.
I love it when like you can create some really unique stuff that way.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get pretty different sounds in one kind of like session like that, in one sort of recording.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're all coming from like the same like mother and father sound, if that makes sense. And then they are all like the children, and then you can people identify that, like it's how like you have a song where like the sounds are all sound like they are coming from the same place, even if they sound different. And I think that's an important thing too.
Yeah, because it gives cohesiveness.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, here's some other sound in there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. With the octaveness.
Nice.
Ooh, damn.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think
that's good stuff.
Mess with that. It's amazing what
stuff.
you can do with just simple, basic shapes.
Yeah, I love it.
I think that's where a lot of the old school sound design comes from.
Sine waves. Beautiful.
What else is going on in here? I know I add in, I guess not during the drop, but during the builds, I add in a lot of like small details, like a car driving away, like make the song feel real. And like, what's this?
I have a surprise for you folks.
More things to tell a story.
Tell them to shoot to kill. What? We're all in danger.
More references to danger to give a vibe, like maybe it's a car chase driving away. Oh yeah, here's more car shifting noises.
Yeah. This stuff is so important too.
Yeah, this is the difference between a track and like a living in a track.
It's so true, and like it really helps keep like the interest of the listener too, because there's stuff happening like every 8 bars or so. Mm-hmm. But not only that, the stuff that you're inputting in there paints a picture, and it's like little things you latch onto. You like when next time you listen to the track, you're like ready for that vocal, because
little footsteps.
Yeah, good stuff like that.
And then like
paints a picture.
Which like was that in the context of the track?
Surprise for you folks.
It's like you're walking in like some dark
Tell them to shoot to kill. What? We're all in danger.
Try to line it up. Yeah, and then during the second drop I did that fake out of like the actual drum and bass.
Oh yes,
where I moved the kicks and snares around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, what else is going on in here? This to support that. What's this? Oh yeah, I love this little riser you got.
Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah, this gives me like cyber 80s vibes, you know? It's like we're almost like in like
I have a surprise for you.
yeah, some like futuristic post-apocalyptic
Tell him to shoot to
car
kill.
scene.
What? We're all in danger.
Yeah.
There's like a robot. Oh no, we gotta get out of here! Quick!
Yeah.
And then then the B section. This is what happens when this session gets too chaotic, because I don't know which way to. Okay, no, this is pretty similar to how you had it, actually.
Yeah, this one's mostly.
That was a effing sample, so good. So it was pretty simple. It's sometimes I get more involved in the sound design, but for this, I was like, I just found the things that worked for the song, and I think I was in a mode when I was working on this where I was like more in just like, what does this song want from me as a person?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can add all these different things that I know how to do, but it might not be appropriate, So how do I stay true to the thing that you made, to the vibe that you started, but like from what is calling to me to
Yeah.
add in,
Yeah, I think you really elevated it a lot. And I think that it was really cool to see what you did with something that I had made that I was kind of like maybe even burnt out on at that point, like kind of like, I don't really know what to do. But then if I got it into your hands, which is great, because I think it was you're the perfect person to give it to. And like, I think this track is like more about the groove and the feel and kind of the flow of it than it is about the sound design anyway. I mean, like we're not breaking any boundaries here necessarily,
but that
yeah,
that thing's it's very fun live.
Yeah, it's so it's cool to like kind of focus on that sometimes, because I'm very like sound design focused these days, like doing drum and bass and like kind of even into kind of like the neuro-y stuff. And so it's fun to do a song that just is like about the groove and about it like just sounding like fun and like being really danceable.
Looks like I added in some very minimal mastering on this too.
Oh, cool.
Like so yeah, it's in mid side mode, so it looks like I'm just boosting the high sides. It looks like I'm boosting both the high sides and the high mids, and that's about it. And then I'm ducking some of the side mids or something like that, just barely. But yeah, and then the fab filter, this probably isn't even, I guess it's pulling down, it's glitching out on the screen, but it's
Nice.
pulling down 2.7 dB, so, it's nothing fancy on here. Wait, was it, if we play this? It is doing it. 7 to 4 or 5 to 7 dB gain reduction.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's a good push, but not over pushing it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it was more focused around the writing and just being minimal.
Yeah, totally.
While also telling a story and allowing it to stay full.
The track isn't even particularly loud either. I mean, it's loud, but it's not like way loud or like super pushed or
what's
anything. Yeah, it's at around like 9 RMS, -9 RMS. So it's decently loud, but it's not like Skrillex -4 level loud. Yeah. Yeah, totally. But yeah, man, it was so much fun working on this. I love it when a song just instantly creates inspiration in me, because like I knew when I heard this track, I was like, I hear the things that
I need. And it's nice when I don't have to think about what a song needs.
Yeah, those are the best ones by
Yeah.
far.
I just have to be a vessel
Hmm.
of what I naturally hear as somebody that's listened to so much of this style of music, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Oh, here, I'm gonna stop sharing that, but like, oh my God. Uh, this has been so much fun, man.
Yeah. We should do it again. We should do another track.
I'm
I'm
down.
adamant that we do another one.
Um, Anything else that you can think of? Oh yeah, so you've got the album everyone should go check out.
Yeah.
EP on SubCarbon Records, Interstellar. What was it?
Oh, Interstellar Vision is what it's
Interstellar
called.
Visions.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like what, like five
5 tracks on it.
five
Yeah.
tracks on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on SubCarbon. Before that, I just had one last month on Space Yacht too. It's drum and bass. And those are everything kind of piled up towards the end of the year
Cool.
here. So I
I
actually
know,
don't have
same
any
here.
like stuff coming up necessarily, at least nothing I can talk about yet, but I'm hard in the studio. So
Yeah. Anything exciting for 2022?
not quite yet. Actually, well, I mean, okay, so I'm working
Nothing you can
on
say?
nothing. Yeah, exactly. I'm working on an EP that I'm hoping to kind of be like one of my bigger ones, like kind of a
Mm.
statement EP of kind of where I'm taking Rebel Scum and what I want to do in the future. So it
Yeah,
feels
because
good
you've
writing
gotten
like
some decent support from this. Like this song got on to some cool playlists
yeah,
as well
yeah,
on
yeah.
Spotify,
It's
and
been
I know Kumarion's been a super fan of yours.
yes, yeah. He's mine, but he's from Seattle too. He's a good buddy of mine. And so I've been like talking to him all the time, and he's been a big inspiration too because watching him like flourish as an artist and really grow a ton has been super cool because I'm like, wow, like maybe I could do it too. Because we're from the same place, and he's just such a good producer. It's really cool watching him, and he's been really encouraging and playing this track out. Actually, he's been playing this track out like every show, and he really
Oh,
loves
really?
playing it. Yeah, by the
I
way.
haven't seen it. He's got to send us
I actually
a
do have a
video.
video of
Come
I
on,
have a video
Omar.
of him playing it here in Seattle just recently. I didn't send it to you. I don't know why, but I should.
Well, send it to me. I want
Yeah.
to see it.
So so he's been really cool. But like this, there's just been plenty of artists that have been super nice. Reaper would be the other one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I heard really great things about him at Lost Lands.
Super, super great dude. We're under the same management team, really cool management team. So he's been really helpful as well. He's doing
Awesome.
great things for drum and bass. So it's cool to
It's exciting
have
to
his
see
ear.
that drum and bass is coming to the States. You know, it's not mainstream popularity yet, but there are definitely pockets in which people accept it, and
Yeah.
Twitter talks about it nonstop.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be out and about next year. That's really one of my biggest goals is like going out and connecting with people and with music and like playing my stuff out at like bigger shows, and getting out of Washington to go play other places. So hopefully that's what you'll see in the next year here.
Well, I would love to see it, and I hope we get to play a show here together soon.
Oh, that'd be so fun. Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Well, this has been so much fun. I think we got to wrap it up now, but everyone should definitely go check out all of Rebel Scum's music. We're going to post a bunch of links below. We should also go check out the track on SubCarbon, his old EP. We'll be posting a link to that below as well. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Stay creative, stay inspired, and we love you, aliens.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Peace, y'all.